So how can Syracuse finish above 12th in the ACC for 2025? First answer, it's kind of obvious. Get the quarterback right. What do you think? Comment in the comment section below. If Syracuse gets even average quarterback play, where do you think they'll finish in the ACC? If Syracuse gets above average quarterback play, where do you think they'll finish? And if somehow Ricky Collins or Steve Angeli have a Kyle McCord type season, where do you think they're going to finish in the conference? Look, I'm a reasonable person for the most part. I'd like to think of myself that way. At times, I can maybe get a little bit emotional. After all, I am a fan. Fan is short for fanatic. Because I want my team to win. And you want Syracuse probably to win as well, since you're tuning in to Locked On Syracuse, right? You're a Syracuse fan, just like myself. I understand that Steve Angeli and Ricky Collins, that's the battle for Syracuse's number one quarterback. They're probably not going to be Kyle McCord. That's okay. And before you sit here and say, Jackson, you're being too negative about those guys, look, I'm open-minded. I'm open to some magic. But Kyle McCord quite literally set ACC records last year. It'd be hard for either of those guys to match the production of Kyle McCord. He led Syracuse to have the number one passing offense in the country a year ago. But if Syracuse can just get quality quarterback play, just quality quarterback play, you don't have to be all ACC perhaps, but don't be terrible. Maybe be a little bit above average. This team will be okay. And this team will be able to exceed the expectation of finishing 12th in the conference. They got quality weapons. At least I believe so. I understand they lost some guys. There's no Trevor Pena this year. He transferred to Penn State. There's no Jackson Meeks. He's in the NFL. No Oronde Gadsden. No LaQuinn Allen. What are they going to do? I think Darrell Gill is primed to have a big year. Justus Ross-Simmons has a fresh start. He's healthy. He's ready to go. He should be able to step in and be one of the leading wide receivers for Syracuse this season, after having high expectations last year as a transfer from Colorado State. So you got him to throw to. You also got Jonte Cook. Jonte Cook is, let's face it, boom or bust. There's a chance he booms. He could be really good for Syracuse, and I think they're going to use him in a number of different ways, whether that's outside, inside in the slot, maybe even on special teams perhaps. He's got a ton of speed, a ton of talent. I think he would be pretty good on special teams as well. We'll talk about him on special teams more in depth when we do a special teams preview podcast on this show. You look at the running backs for Syracuse. Yassine Willis, he does need to take a step up as a true sophomore this season. But I think he could at least be in a nice committee with Will Nixon, the Washington transfer from last year, who looked pretty good before he got hurt. Broke his foot last year, unfortunately. But he looked pretty good when he was playing in the beginning of the season. I liked him. And I think the offensive line, I think it's a question mark, but it's kind of correlated with quarterback play. Maybe you feel differently, so comment in the comments section below. Feel like you're not going to get one without the other. If you get good offensive line play, you're probably going to get good quarterback play because you got the good weapons. If you get bad offensive line play, look out. Then you could be in trouble because Steve Angeli and Ricky Collins are probably running for their lives. It's going to be hard to run the football. And then having all this talent on the outside doesn't matter as much. But we also discussed last week with Jeff Nixon, offensive coordinator. And his offense historically has worked really well, even without having Kyle McCord as his quarterback all the time. It's not like Jeff Nixon has always had an NFL guy throwing for him. He has still been able to churn out quality offenses in college football. he was able to create a pretty solid Baylor offense when he was there in his first season. When they won one game as a team, they had a good offense for a one-win team. So make no mistake, if Syracuse gets quality quarterback play, they're going to be okay. They're going to at minimum make a bowl if they have quality quarterback play, and they will likely exceed the expectations of finishing 12th in the conference. Are they going to be top 5? I'm not sure, but they'll be better than 12th if they get quality quarterback play. We can also discuss the defense. The defense, quite frankly, has got to hold its own. And we know this. Yeah, they lost some talent. They lost Marlowe Wax. They don't have Justin Barron. They don't have Fadil Diggs. They don't have Elijah Clark and others. But despite having those players last season, Syracuse football was 14th in the ACC in points allowed at 29 per game. Myself and probably you are not asking for too much out of this defense to be better than what they were last season. And if they finish 14th again or worse, well, then we got to talk about the defensive coordinator in Elijah Robinson. I understand he's a fantastic recruiter. You can't finish 14th in the ACC in defense again. They got to be better on defense this upcoming season. I hope they will be. But we'll see. But finally, use the poll as motivation. And I understand this is not an X's and O's type of breakdown when I say that. But I hope Fran Brown prints out a picture of that ACC media poll and puts it in the locker of every Syracuse football player. This is what the public thinks of you. They think you're the 12th best team in the ACC out of 17 teams. They think you stink. They think you're going to miss a bowl. Go out and prove them wrong. Go out and work harder than every other team in the country. You may not have as much talent as a team like Georgia or a team like Clemson in the ACC or Miami in the ACC, but you can work harder than them. You can absolutely work harder than them and try to make up the difference in talent because you're working a lot harder. And you can use that motivational tactic of they think you suck. They think you're not good. They think you're going to miss a bowl. So it's not X's and O's. It's more about bulletin board material.